Disclaimer, I own nothing in this video. Uh, I will link the original video down in the description below, but all credit in this video goes to the original owners, specifically Death Battle. And follow them on YouTube or the Rooster Teeth website. And also, I'm probably gonna be talking, I'm probably gonna be talking like this because my voice my voice really isn't been the best for a while, so excuse me if I sound like a coal miner who smokes 24/7. So, without further ado, let's start the video.
Do this shit until they murder me.
Hello guys, Darwin6 here, and today we're reacting to Deku versus Asta. So, I have full confidence Asta is going to win, but we're just gonna have to watch the video and see. In 3, 2, 1. Because really, Asta's the guy with the giant-ass sword. All Deku can do is punch and kick.
Deku, My Hero Academia's super student, straight out of UA High.
Asta, the anti-magical ass kicker from Black Clover.
Though you may be born bereft of the same gifts as your peers, there is nothing stopping you from achieving your dreams.
As long as you're a fictional character in a fantasy world. I mean, as long as you've got your friends by your side, you'll pack a hell of a punch.
And I don't think My Hero Academia is a fantasy world, and my god, that guy over there and that guy over there, what the fuck? Also, what is this bitch doing? And this guy just looks confident as hell.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death
Don't want to
battle.
see a backside stick. Exactly.
Izuku Midoriya wanted only one thing from life, to be a beacon of hope just like his idol, the #1 ranked superhero in Japan, All Might.
Too bad he was born a freak with no powers.
Born a freak.
You heard right. This is like a reverse X-Men thing where
no.
80% of the population gets red superpowers, or quirks as they're called, while the remaining fifth are stuck as basic bitches, or as his spiky-haired bully Bakugo called him, Deku.
That's a pun on the Japanese word dekunobu, meaning good for nothing.
I saw this, and honestly, I think that's a good thing to learn the Japanese dub over, just to hear Japanese words that are like puns on Dekunobu, good for nothing. That is perfect.
Persevering despite his basic bitchedness, Midoriya
Blood type 0, age 16.
got the chance to
The
prove his
biggest
quirkless
fan,
heroic mettle
biggest
against
All
this
Might
giant
fan ever.
sludge monster,
That's so
much to the surprise of one particular almighty onlooker.
Yes.
His body secretly decaying from a horrific injury, All Might needed to find the one who would inherit his all-powerful quirk.
To defeat
And All Might didn't
All
want
for
just
One.
anybody. The hero world was filled with glory seekers in it for fame and money. All Might wanted someone whose body moved on its own to save someone.
To be
He
fair,
saw exactly
when you live in a world in My Hero Academia and you have an epic superpower, what would you honestly do? Yeah, I would probably go for the fame as well.
that in young Midoriya, and gave him one of the most powerful quirks in the world, one for all.
That was the problem. Even after
You know what? Or how about this? Plot armor. Boom. The best kind of armor.
bulking up from lad to Chad, the recoil from even one punch would shatter all the bones in his arm. So he trained to be able to handle his gift at the superhero school of his dreams, UA
So
High.
basically the opposite.
And that's when he decided to own
One
the
Punch
name
Man.
used as a cudgel against him for so many years. Turns out, Deku can also be an abbreviation for Dekiru, someone who can do anything.
Exactly the opposite of Dekunobu.
Yeah.
One for All allows Deku to release absolutely absurd amounts of strength from
One for All, Fat Chin, Dangerous Scene, Black Whip,
different parts of it.
Or how about
body
this?
with
Plot
super
armor.
moves named after U.S. cities and states.
Deku
Yeah,
still can't
I
access
get it.
all of his power safely though. Using 100% will quickly destroy his body,
That's the
which is
fucking
why he learned to distribute his strength evenly across his body. A technique known as full cowl.
I mean, like,
this lets
there's
him
nothing
increase his speed and
interesting
durability as
here.
well, making him more all-rounded and shifting focus to his own interpretation
Yeah,
of One for All inspired by his pal Ida.
I get it.
Shoot style.
Where he pulls out a Glock and blows your brains out.
Oh
Okay,
my-
not really, but in keep.
Okay, why? Why do you need to do this? To just do Deku versus Austin Jump Force.
With One for All's
I
rep.
mean, they did the same with Madara and Aizen. I still like that episode because my boy Aizen.
Theme, he trades All Might's signature punches for kicks. My version's better. You ever seen Rabbit versus Gun? I have, and I know how it plays out.
Considering the
Goddamn
much higher
fuck.
muscle mass of a human's legs,
Goddamn.
shoot style allowed Deku to output even
Family
more
Guy.
power while giving his arms a break. A break from
Punching.
a break.
And despite being a classic melee
A
build,
break from
Deku
a
can
break.
fight at range by punching powerful gusts of air and even precisely aim them with specially designed gloves.
Deku has an encyclopedic knowledge of quirks and is always analyzing their strengths and weaknesses mid-battle.
I mean, that's a
even if
good
he does
thing.
sound a little weird.
Despite only
Oh,
barely getting
abso-fucking-lutely.
accepted in the first place, Deku quickly became one of
Also-
Class 1A's most dependable fighters. Because
Okay, that is an epic shot. Also, that's probably the only fight in My Hero Academia I would give a shit about because my god doesn't look awesome.
yeah, somehow these students are constantly getting drafted into literal wars against murderous supervillains.
Because their luck is fucking zero. Also, they have no face.
Midoriya's successes in battle against ruthless criminals like Stain, Muscular, and Overhaul came much to his old bully's chagrin. Where Bakugo was a child prodigy, he now found himself overshadowed by his hard-working rival, and the two would use their mutual respect and animosity to motivate each other to get stronger.
Classic frenemies. They're only solving their problems by pounding the living tar out of each other.
Luckily for him, Deku soon learned that living tar pounding wasn't the only thing he could do. Turns out, One for All did not originate with All Might. It had been passed down 8 times until it arrived at Deku, with each inheritance also carrying the previous user's natural quirk as well.
Like Black Whip, which lets him manifest crazy long and strong energy tendrils to tie enemies up and
sorry.
swing around the city, or shoot one out of his mouth, just like our girl Froppy.
And Danger
Oh my
Sense,
God.
which gives him a minor reactive precognition.
AKA, he's Spider-Man. Not
God damn it, man. It's like... Hold on, guys.
reach. The mangaka is like the biggest Spidey fan ever.
He can also produce a smoke screen to mask his presence, float in midair, or store kinetic energy over time with Fa Jin. Oh,
Yeah.
Hell?
Ugh.
What was that?
Like that. By storing up enough, he
Really,
can even match
Dick?
All Might's max power without any recoil to boot. Strong enough to change the weather and create city block-sized tornadoes with a single punch.
Okay,
and
that
he's
is
even
the coolest thing I've
stronger
ever
with his
seen.
newest quirk, Gear Shift, which allows him to
honestly,
increase the
I really
speed of an
didn't give a
object
shit
anytime he
about My
touches
Hero
it.
Academia.
In conjunction with the power of All for One, he can use this to warp reality itself. Deku can go toe-to-toe with
it's
arch-villains like Shigaraki, who's fast enough to
Shigaraki.
react to and catch laser beams with his bare hands.
Really?
But nothing could prepare him
So
for
it's
All
like-
Might's archenemy, the shadowy leader
like-
of the League of Villains.
Back to it.
All for One.
All Might only ever showed his young pupil kindness and support, but that couldn't change the absolutely crushing pressure Deku felt at every moment.
Even classically trained dickhead Bakugo came to help his teammate out when he needed it. Like when they teamed up to share One for All and punch an island-sized hole in the clouds 24 miles high.
Just goes to show that even One for
fine.
All isn't a one-man army. Deku's true strength comes from his teamwork between himself and his friends.
And with their help, Deku will surely become that beacon of hope he dreamt about as a child.
One hero for all mankind.
One hero for all mankind.
This episode is sponsored by
Alright, Asta, your turn now.
Magic! You know it, you love it, and in the world of Black Clover, it doesn't come from a box you bought at a tacky West Hollywood costume shop.
Are you
Everyone's
fucking
got it.
serious?
Mana is the source of all magic, a supernatural energy found in the air and in living beings. Except living beings whose names are Asta.
Not only was the young Asta an orphan abandoned by his mother at a church as a baby, he was born with a mutation that prevents him from having any mana to speak of.
Look at his catchphrase. Yo, doesn't he do that in the first episode? And then, first few episodes, I guess.
Well, neither do I, and you don't hear me crying about it.
Yes, you
Why?
do, all of the time. But Asta had a dream. Despite his lack of magic, he and his best friend Yuno promised each other one of them would rise to the throne of the greatest military position in the land, the Wizard King.
The what?
Wizard King? Really, guys?
Wizard King?
Sometimes they call it Magic Emperor, but we all know what they mean.
So he dedicated himself to
my
getting
God.
swole as all hell in a world of nerds. He would be its lone jock god, shoving every last wizard into a locker until they crowned him king.
But huge, frightening pectorals on a tiny, screaming goblin child weren't enough on its own. He needed something powerful
well,
enough to shut
no.
down his opponent's magic.
He needed
Maybe.
the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire.
Essentially a book of spells, a grimoire will choose its user and float beside their wielder at all times.
And Asta was lucky enough to receive the Uno Reverse card of Grimoires. The 5-leaf Clover can harness the power of anti-magic.
Hey, me and my friend used that Uno reverse card a lot as a joke. I'm sure he will like this video. I know my friend is watching this.
Which will literally nullify the effects of other magic spells. Almost like Wizard Kryptonite. Let
Wizard
the locker
Kryptonite.
stuffing commence! Haha, get nerds!
It wasn't long before Asta was accepted into one of the 9 squads of Clover Kingdom's Magic Knights, the Black Bulls,
You think
filled
you're
with lazy
impressed?
drunkards, antisocial otakus, and literal sociopaths.
My kind of people! Yep, mostly. But much like with Asta, you shouldn't judge a
Are
grimoire
you
by its cover.
really,
And soon they were all
in a
working
team
together and
like
kicking
that?
ass like a family should.
Asta harnesses the
Kicking ass
power of
like a-
anti-magic by summoning swords imbued with it from the grimoire. Normally, these
Yep.
swords would quickly drain the mana from anyone foolish enough to
Yeah,
wield
no.
them, but Asta does not have any mana, turning his greatest weakness into a one-of-a-kind strength.
He's got his classic Demon Slayer.
Take that,
enormous
motherfuckers.
greatsword which cuts through spells with its edge and deflects them with its flat. Or the Demon Dweller, which can also absorb and copy magic, then toss it right back to sender.
I think my personal favorite is the more complex Demon Destroyer, which severs the relationship between a spell's cause and effect, countering the effects of its magic. This could result in anything from healing a village that was inflicted with poison to preventing reincarnation.
Yeah, okay, some of these can get
Now
a little
that's
heady.
OP.
I personally prefer keeping it simple, like using anti-magic telekinesis to surf on your sword through the sky.
It's worth noting that these
Let's
swords are
surf,
made specifically for
motherfuckers.
countering magical attacks and sources of mana. The swords will act as though blunted when striking non-magical foes, more akin to giant clubs than actual blades. Not entirely inconsistent with real-life greatswords.
But none of
Yeah.
that's even close to as cool as his
Because
deadliest
it's
sword,
like-
the
Because it's like, most swords are deadly enough that you get to get sliced off in one shot. I feel like most swords aren't like that.
Demon Slasher, a katana as black as the pits of hell and twice as badass.
This one actually does cut like a sword, but it's complicated. It lets Asta actually select what he does and does not want to cut, only affecting his target while leaving anything else unharmed.
Okay, at this point, isn't that just magic?
Magic with a loophole.
And he
Yeah.
studied the blade long enough to become a master swordsman to boot.
Yes, magic with a loophole. Let's just call it that.
Not in the real life sense, in the anime sense.
He can spin himself like a
Sorry,
tornado.
what?
Magic with a loophole.
And
What
he
did he
studied
say?
the blade long enough to become a master swordsman to boot. Not in the real life sense, in the anime sense.
Yeah, anime is like, let me go faster.
He can spin himself like a tornado to deflect magic spells, thrust forward at top
Spinning time! I watched too much Nemesis. I think that's the only thing I kept to steal. Spinning time.
speed like a charging bull, launch a barrage of anti-magic projectiles, and even channel anti-magic into his
That's
swords to
not real.
vastly increase their size.
Well,
What did I say? Overcompensating size right there.
While he may be no good with mana, he has learned to detect ki. Because, of course,
The life
Yeah, of course he did.
force existing in all things. Asta can detect hidden opponents and even predict their movements ahead of time, as long as
I'm sorry, what? Okay.
he's fast enough to react.
with such crazy powers, Asta was taking on threats like the Eye of the Midnight Sun, the Devil Zagrid, and the Dark Triad. So many nerds, never enough lockers. Too bad for Asta, though. He had one serious inner demon.
Literally, housed within the five-leaf clover grimoire was Liba, a demon exiled from hell for completely lacking magical powers, and who just so happened to get adopted by Asta's mother.
Until he got possessed by a different demon and killed her. Vowing vengeance on all demon kind, Liba manifested anti-magic from his hatred as a way to kick their asses. Which gave him and Asta a lot of common ground, despite the whole, mom murder thing.
In fact, the
Mom murder thing? Like, okay.
two became true brothers and formed an unstoppable duo. Liba can actually fully merge with Asta for a massive power boost that lasts up to 5 minutes, at the cost of leaving Asta nearly powerless for the next half hour.
Come on, I want it. I'll take it.
Why?
If I get to be strong enough to slice buildings to pieces, obliterate huge chunks of earth, and tear the most powerful demons apart. Give me the goddamn book. I'm
Oh, come on, Boomstick. You're not trusted with anything.
The book boy, okay? Even characters earlier in the series like Patoli had magic capable of completely vaporizing the entire Clover Kingdom in a single attack. And demons that Asta has fought since then like Dante and Lucifero are leagues
Did this guy say Dante? Not the DMC.
stronger.
Hell, screw all these demon forms and anti-magic powers. Asta's body is so
Why do I
incredibly
have-
well trained, he dodged a beam of light while sleeping.
Why the hell
As
do I
in,
have-
he was asleep, and the force of his sneeze pushed his head out of the way of
What
a beam
the-
of light.
What?
Light speed sneezes, everyone.
And despite
Damn
his
it.
headstrong and irritating personality,
AKA screaming at the top of his lungs as often as possible.
Asta is an intelligent fighter who has leveraged his skill against far more experienced foes.
But he wouldn't be anywhere without the ragtag band of deviants he calls
Yep.
friends. With them at
Yep.
his side, there's no way he won't climb the ranks to take the Wizard King's throne. Especially with Yuno pushing them both to get stronger.
Hell.
Unlike other classic shonen
Yeah.
rivalries, this one isn't tainted by antagonism. They truly want what's best for each other, even if they're competing for the same throne.
Yuno's gonna need all the luck he can get, cause even if Asta never gets mana of his own, his true magic is never given up.
Of course.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Alright, I'm still going for Asta. Okay, Asta. Don't disappoint.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
I swear
It's
to
time
God.
for a death battle!
How does my stupid matchup ended up being good?
Sword that big? He's gotta be crazy strong. I'm gonna have to rely on more than just my power to take him down.
Okay. Okay, they replicated that. Okay, I like that.
Just gotta hit him really hard.
Yeah. Mysterious. Oh god, here we go.
Give even Luck a run for his money.
Okay, I like that they reference other characters. Although that was just fun. Please tell me they reference other characters at the very least.
Aren't swords supposed to be sharp?
Yeah, about that.
His speed isn't slowed by his sword's weight at all. Gotta hamper his movements and get that book out of his hands. Huh? He found me!
Oh my god. It's fucking Spider-Man. It really is. I saw that Zoro reference. Don't you think I didn't see that? Oh.
Now it's my turn!
Alright. Alright, Black Whip.
Wait! Are you not using magic? What kind of magic emperor would I be if I can't beat a guy like this? Detroit Smash!
No, he is not magic. Oh god! Yeah, I know. Said about
Detroit Smash! Detroit Smash!
Okay, since when can he? Okay, I think he can do that. There we go. Now you can do that. Alright.
I don't know what Detroit is, but I've had enough of it. I'm ending this quick!
Okay, here we go. Asta
Hit me
wins.
with all you've got, because I'm never going down!
Come on, Asta. Win, Asta, win! Alright, then. Come on, Asta. You have to win. Stop! Quit being Spider-Man! You are not Spider-Man and you fucking know it! And stop
No,
copying
not
that.
going all out anymore.
And
I
stop
just gotta hit him really hard.
And stop being like Floppy.
You wanted my best? Here it is! 1,000,000,000%! Plus Ultra!
Here we go.
I did it.
No, you did not. What did I say?
Take that, Detroit.
For our final round, as Asta takes on last year's reigning champion, Mr. Satan!
Oh, I just realized. Perfect. I love it. Okay, it's like, what the fuck, man?
Ah, poor Deku. He tried his best, but Asta just shoved him into that great big locker in the sky.
Both Deku and Asta were fairly evenly matched melee fighters without any specific abilities to give one an easy edge over the other. Though, to be fair, the variety of quirks Deku inherited from past users of One For All did make him more versatile and unpredictable.
Plus, quirks are biological mutations, not connected to some supernatural energy source like mana, so Asta's anti-magic powers were basically useless here.
And Deku was generally a smarter and more tactical fighter, but against Asta's incredible might, this time Brawn beat Brains.
Let's crunch some numbers! Deku's greatest feat of strength was splitting that enormous cloud formation with Bakugo.
By measuring the size of the island and comparing it to the clouds above, we can determine they dispersed over 63 trillion kilograms of water.
That's the weight of the Great Pyramid of Giza! 12,000 of them!
And required an energy of nearly 80 teratons of TNT per punch.
Let's compare that to Asta. But Toli's spell was going to be strong enough to vaporize a country the size of the Clover Kingdom.
We can use this map from the manga to estimate the size of Clover Kingdom to be about 500 kilometers in diameter, about half the length of Great Britain. Vaporizing a country of that size would require an energy of over 480 teratons of TNT, over 6 times greater than Deku's punch.
While Asta uses anti-magic, it isn't an automatic counter. It needs to be comparable in strength to the spell it's combating. And Asta's gotten way stronger since.
Asta was also quicker. Sure, scaling to Shigaraki would give Deku roughly light speed reaction time.
But Asta could dodge light in his sleep, and that's his base form, even before transforming with Liba to get way faster.
And since Deku and Asta's precognitive abilities more or less matched each other, it was only a matter of time before Asta simply overwhelmed him.
Especially since Deku has struggled in the past against faster opponents. Sure, Deku was smarter, but if he literally didn't have enough time to come up with a plan of attack before getting hammered, his brains were wasted.
Deku's tactical brilliance and harem-scarum tenacity definitely gave his opponent a run for his money, but Asta's raw power, blinding speed, and deadlier weaponry spelled the end for All Might's pupil.
Deku gave it his all, and I wish he had won. Hasta la vista.
The winner is Asta.
Hold on. Let me finish that. Hasta la vista, baby. There we go. I finished it for you,
Hey, if you want more Death
Fake
Battle
me.
ASAP, why not grab a membership? You'll
Well,
get
hello.
exclusive emotes,
Hello,
badges,
Ben
live
Singer.
chat, live streams, and a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. Just click that join button. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Alright. The what? The season finale. May I ask the reasoning behind this? It's like Vegito versus Gogeta. I don't. How about this? It's a draw. Boom. Boom. Nobody wins. Let's get to the. God damn it. But I'm just kidding, you guys. There's obviously going to be a winner here. Vegito versus Gogeta. Well, if you're not. Well, it only gets interesting once you factor in. Once you get the time factor out of the equation. Let's just say both fusions are permanent and there's somehow two Gokus and two Vegetas. One of them uses the Batara earrings, and the other does the fusion dance, and both are permanent. Let's just put that scenario into question. Then the match gets interesting, especially the fact that Dragon Ball Super Broly is the only canon source of Gogeta. So really, I don't know. I will say Gogeta may win, but really, I don't know much. While I do like Dragon Ball, I only watch Super, and even in Super, Vegito kept up with the fusion of Zamasu, who I don't know how powerful this motherfucker is. Who It's literally just two Zamasus. One of them is literally Goku Black, who is just Zamasu in Goku's body. Really, I don't. Whoever wins, I'm not too bothered by it. By if one of them wins and the other of them didn't. And also, let me check the calendar here. So they're taking more than the usual 2 weeks to make this episode. I sincerely hope that this episode is gonna be a best video. I mean, to be fair, same series fights. Well, same series fights. Isn't the whole point of versus shows like Death Battle is to get two characters from different series to fight each other? Because this is basically but who knows? The debate may get interesting. So let's just hope that they get. Now, I don't know if they're going to factor Gogeta from that Dragon Ball GT, but if they only because if they only go for the canon version of Gogeta, then he's only strong enough to fight Broly because that's basically the only fight in the anime. But wait, I just realized if Gogeta ever appears again in any of the mangas, they may factor that into as well. But then again, so will Vegito if they do that. Yeah, anyways, that was my reaction. Hopefully Vegito versus Gogeta will be a banger to end off the season, and I hope season 10. The only thing I hope for season 10, Akuma versus Kenpachi, or maybe Zangetsu versus Akuna, or maybe Kratos versus Dante. You know what? If any of those 3 episodes were to happen next season, you would know that I will be more than happy to watch them. Anyways, See y'all later.